Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Football. My name is John Halpin alongside Chris Palmer and our guest, Sha-leek. Sha-leek, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing amazing. How you feeling, John? How you feeling, Chris?
Amazing, man. I hope you and everyone watching had a very Merry Christmas. Chris Palmer, did you have a very Merry Christmas?
Yes, first of all, Shah, thank you so much for coming. It means a lot. I know that you've told me, I've told Halpin too, that you are one of our most dedicated watchers. You watch week in and week out, pretty much since the birth of this. So I just want to say thank you so much for being on here and being a supporter.
Woohoo! Thank you guys for having me. Woo! This is amazing. I feel so amazing to be here with you guys. It's amazing you guys to be invited on the conversations week in and week out, talking good football. You know, just the insights, the facts, the results, the outcomes, how these things play out, just week in and week out, being caught off by surprises and expectations rising. It's been amazing. So I'm excited. I'm pumped, and
Hey,
I hope you
Sha,
guys have a very Merry Christmas as well. Yes.
Thank you, my
absolutely, man.
brother.
Hey, Shah, thank you for joining us, man. So I was gonna say, let's get right into it. Let's just start talking about this past weekend of football, starting with the Thursday night game that happened, and that was the New Orleans Saints taking on the Los Angeles Rams, and the Rams coming away with a strong victory, 30-22. Rams in the playoff race. Saints find themselves out of the playoff race. Shah, let me ask you real quick. What are your thoughts on the Rams this year?
Whew, it's gonna be a funny take. Because me personally, I did like the Rams, especially when they had Jared Goff, and I feel like they're way better now. Um, I feel as though there's a couple of room for opportunities. Like I would love to see them get more explosive in the running back game. I mean, Williams is amazing; he's been phenomenal. Um, More tight end usage, like Tyler Higbee going as long as he did without being involved in a passing attack, to me is kind of surprising. He's like a true trusted guy there. Puka Nakua is just Jesus. He is round of applause for that young man because he is just spectacular. I'm not gonna lie. He is to come out of the draft the way he did and then explode the way he did, step up when Cooper Cup went down. Cooper Cup, of course, is always going to be fantastic. Matthew Stafford does a great job controlling the ball, building that rapport with his players. I remember he said that was one of the things he struggled with was like reaching out to the younger personnel he has on his team. But I mean, the way these guys are clicking, it seems like that's been like the least of their worries these past couple of weeks. And then they get past the stingy Saints defense. I mean, and the impressive Derek Carr. A lot of people weren't high on Derek Carr this week, but he has a few moments, and this weekend he showcases. So it was a really good win for the Rams.
Absolutely. Well said, Shah. Well said. CP, give me your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, Shah kind of said it. It was a pretty telltale game, very hard fought win for the Rams. Good on them for keeping their playoff games alive. Again, they've kind of been one of those teams that was more or less under the radar. You and I kind of swept them under the rug this year. Like they kind of thought they were going to drop off and there was more teams to talk about. But now they're in the conversation. So good on them. They fought hard this year.
Yeah, right now the Rams currently find themselves at the sixth seed in the NFC playoff picture. So we'll be sure to keep an eye on the Rams this upcoming weekend and for week 18 and to see if they make the playoffs. Let's move on to the Saturday games, starting with your Pittsburgh Steelers, Chris Palmer, putting up 34-11. It wasn't even close. It was all Steelers all day. Merry Christmas, Mason Rudolph.
Rudolph saves
Tell me,
Christmas, man. Um,
Rudolph saved Christmas.
Much needed win, but the same thing happened when Mitch Trubisky made his first start. He came out, he put 400 yards of total offense up. That's what happens when you have someone fresh. You have fresh legs out there. No one really knows what to watch. Everyone knows what you see, what you get with Mason Rudolph. He's a 500 record quarterback. 8-8 is what you get. He won us one game. If he could win us two games in a row, it'd be a surprise. We needed this win. Now, more or less, our fate is in our hands. We kind of have to win out to even think about getting a wild card spot. We have a very big game against Seattle this week. My hopes aren't as high, but I do love watching the Bengals crash. That's always a good
Amen
thing.
to that. Sha, just give me your brief thoughts on this game.
Um, Shout out to George Pickens because I've been picking him a few times in showdowns with fantasy and Deontay Johnson. I mean, just the receiving corps you guys have is just amazing. I would love to see more of Najee Harris. I really would, but I do get it. This is a game where paces do change, so I do understand getting the younger back involved. Um,
Oh,
but
Jalen
I
Warren?
think yeah. Um, and Mason Rudolph, man, that was pretty impressive. This season has just been the rise of like the underdog quarterbacks, and shout out to every quarterback who's like taking full advantage of the spectrum and just truly showcase all of the talent that's available. Because I feel like had they not, I mean, we wouldn't have some of the explosiveness that we have. I mean, whew, Mason Rudolph and George Pickens. Whew, oh man.
This is
It's
the
like an
year
ice
of the
cream with the
underdog.
cherry on top. Yep, I love it. I love a good upset. Love it.
I love it.
I gotta say, this is exactly what the Steelers needed, getting some momentum back just before the end of the season. If they want to make a playoff run, now's the time to start picking up that momentum. So it was a much needed
100%.
win for the Steelers. So let's move on to the second Saturday game, which was the Buffalo Bills against the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Chargers kept it close, but the Bills ultimately won 24-22. Bills find themselves in the playoff bracket in the AFC at the moment. If they are to win out and Miami loses to Baltimore this upcoming week, that game on Week 18 could determine the AFC East. But Shaw, let me ask you: do you think the Bills are going to stay in the playoff bracket?
Uh, I trust Josh Allen. And one of the things I will say about Josh Allen is he has the ability to mature over time. And I feel like, given the past few scenarios in which he's had the opportunity to progress, he's stalled out and kind of like, I don't know if the pressure got to him and, he had a Patrick Mahomes helmet moment where, he just kind of got frustrated out. But I feel if he continues to just focus on getting his team involved, like for instance, the use of Gabe Davis was key. It was very key this week. He had a
Mm,
stretch in where he had, I believe, like 4 touchdowns back to back, and then after that, it was just pretty much quiet, and now they got back on the same page. So I believe if he continues to do that, incorporate Diggs, maybe get some explosive plays out of James Cook, I mean, I see them having no problem locking that position up. Like, it can only be up from here. It all depends on their mindset and how they plan the attack and how they execute the attack, because it's always the execution with Josh Allen,
hmm Well
for
said.
me at least.
Well said. CP, give me your quick thoughts on this game.
This was an ugly win. Point blank, the end. This was an ugly win. The Bills should have beaten the Chargers by 30. That's putting it simply. I'll give my credit where credit is due to the Bills for their newfound run game. What concerns me is now they're overloading the run, and it almost seems to compensate for something going on with Josh Allen with his lack of throwing the ball all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
This is the third game in a row where he's had under 30 attempts. And that's really not like him. 3 weeks ago, he had his tied for a career low of 15 pass attempts. So I'm not saying something's going on with that arm, and if it were to be an injury, arthritic pain, whatever. It's just there is something going on that is forcing McVay to adapt his playbook to a run game which has been newfounded. Much respect. You need to mold it together. He is still one of your top facilitators on the team. He has 40 touchdowns this year. He's playing out of his fucking mind. So he needs to still be in your facilitating your plays.
Absolutely, man. Hey, Bills right now, they're one of the teams that I don't think anyone wants to play in the playoffs right now. If
Absolutely not.
with a solid run game and Josh Allen playing the way he does, things are looking very scary for the AFC. Let's move on to the Washington Commanders losing to the New York Jets. Jets coming away with a win, 30-28. Hey, man, Jets pulled it out in the end. They almost gave up the lead, but they pulled it out right at the end.
Just two rolling dumpster fires that decided to barge into each other. It was really, I guess you could call it a good win for the Jets, but it's like you beat no one. You beat literally no one in Ron Rivera. But good for y'all.
Oh man. Okay.
Brees Hall did his thing. Trevor Simeon. I mean, it was. I feel like the Commanders shouldn't have had this opportunity to do what they did. But Sam Howell is one of those quarterbacks who he kind of, you know, what's this guy I'm thinking of? He gives me his vibes. Jameis Winston, where it's kind of one of those things
Uh-huh.
where it's not going to be pretty touchdown attempts. Like he'll
He'll get it
probably give
done.
you three. Yeah, he's going to get it done. And I think they missed Brian Robinson, so again, I don't think they used Antonio Gibson. So again, the rise of the younger backs coming out, not much incentive to, I guess, play. They found. I guess they were playing for fun, and it kind of almost worked. But the Jets really wanted to win, so uh, good, like Chris said, good for them, and good for Rodriguez. I mean, because now who knows what that's going to look like in the coming reps. So yeah, he did a good job. So and Brees Hall, I expect nothing less because they had, I think, 2 weeks prior to, well, no, I know the last game before that, the Jets involved Dalvin Cook, and they really ran Brees Hall. Like I believe he had like under 10 attempts or just about 10 attempts, and it was just like the run is definitely just as important as the pass game, which the Jets kind of learned because they still tried to force it to Garrett, but Brees was just the optimal way to go, and so I don't know. So good win for them though. Good win.
No, that was well said. Brees is definitely the engine to the Jets offense, and clearly this Jets season is not what Jets fans envisioned, but it does leave a very optimistic taste in the fans for the Jets because they do have a lot of great young talent, and hopefully if they could transfer that over into next year, who knows? You're going to start seeing a lot of optimistic Jets fans next year.
They could
It
put,
was optimistic until the season starts.
who knows? They might. Who knows? Next year this could be the extra chip on top of a chip. That pushes them. You know, maybe to the next level. Like you said,
Uh-huh.
they're young. Staying optimistic here. Just all. Just staying optimistic.
We're getting the vibes going. We're being optimistic today. Okay. Uh, I want to move on to the NFC North with the Detroit Lions taking on the Minnesota Vikings, and the Detroit Lions coming away with the win, 30-24. And with that win, the Lions clinch the NFC North for the first time in God forever. But Lions
Since
making it
Barry
to the
Sanders was in
playoffs.
the league. Think about that shit.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Their
But
division didn't even exist the last time they won a division. It was
that's
still
right.
the NFC Central. The NFC South
Oh.
didn't exist yet.
Oh my God. Well, the Detroit Lions are on their way to the playoffs, and hey, who would have thought, baby?
Shout out Dan Campbell, man. What a fucking Cinderella story. He was on the 0-16 Detroit Lions, and to make his way to a coach, and now he has a team that is knocking on the door. They're right there.
Absolutely. Uh that now, Shah, I know you are a Packers fan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes,
Tell me,
I am.
tell me briefly, what did you expect this out of the Lions this year?
I'll be honest, right? I kind of, like I said, I didn't like the way LA kind of parted ways with Jared Goff. I kind of felt like he got pinned and blamed towards the end for a lot of stuff, but it's Jared Goff. I mean, let's not forget he gave us one of the greatest Monday Night Football games of all time. So I'm not ready to count him out. So seeing him be able to transition to Detroit, to get Amron St. Brown, to get Jameer Gibbs, to get David Montgomery, to get a defense, to get a coach, to get
Hmm.
a personnel that's trusting their quarterback, just as we did with Aaron Rodgers. I love to see it. It's funny that that they're going to be playing soon, but I don't know. I like Jared Goff to come out strong this year with that chip on his shoulder. Maybe he gets. I don't know. Maybe in his mind he gets the championship he deserved, or he was working towards, and that's enough motivation for him because I know for a fact he can play good football without the outside noise. He's not worried about it, and his teammates feel just the same about him. So I like where he's at. He's destined for good things, and that chip on his shoulder is steadily rising. So I'm here for it. I'm here for Jared Goff
Hey,
doing this.
absolutely, man. Hey, we're going to talk more Lions later in this episode because they have a big matchup this week against the Dallas Cowboys. So we're going to be talking that later on. Let's move on to Cleveland with Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns getting it done over the Houston Texans, 36-22. Amari Cooper setting a single game record for 265 receiving yards, and my God, Browns looking absolutely amazing this season.
What happened to Joe Flacco that his entire career just decided to fucking come back to life? It's just what happened to him? He
He
had a
is
couple
him.
years of he is him
He
apparently. He's
he is
fucking completely
him.
revived. Man gets a salt and pepper beard and is like, I'm better than anyone.
Hey, he's looking great, man. He's looking absolutely great, and I'm all for it right now. As much as like the Cleveland Browns, they're our division rivals. Hey,
You're a
man,
Joe Flacco fan, and we all know it.
I of course I'm a Joe Flacco fan. I ain't gonna deny that. But man,
Come
hey, it's
on.
good to see him doing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. He was my quarterback for so long, and I gotta say I'm very happy that he's finding success in Cleveland, man. I'm very happy for that.
Yeah,
So,
they did an
w-
amazing job for him to come in.
mhm.
I don't know. I mean, Joe, I'm like a lot of times people say that we have the pizza guys that are just there to just deliver the pizza, hand it off, but it just doesn't feel like that with him. It feels like he hasn't lost his touch. He's in a place where he's able to dance and do a little 1-2, and he's not afraid to get on the dance floor. So that's what we like to see, like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love to see it. Um, let's move on to your Green Bay Packers coming away with a victory over the Carolina Panthers, 33-30. This was a lot
Oh,
closer of a game than I know you probably would have liked it to. But I know we're going to talk more Packers later on in this episode because they have a big matchup against the Vikings this week. So just give me your brief thoughts on this game.
um, obviously, I'm gonna. This would probably be the one time where I'm gonna like bash a couple of people here. I'm gonna maybe blame the defensive coordinator for sure, because at this point, these games should not be this close. You know what I mean? For a team like us, especially when we're getting hit with the run game, and then on top of that, our secondary. So I would like them to not have them score as many points, but I'll take the win because we definitely need them. But way too close. Way too close.
Well said. CP, give me your brief thoughts on this game.
Yeah, definitely a win that was way too close for comfort. Being this close to the playoffs and being this close to the playoffs as the Packers and the NFC is so close. Losing to a team, winning against a team by this margin is very sketchy. I could speak like that for the rest of them because we lost to two teams under 500 by 8 games as a playoff contending team, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So that's not a good look. I just want that to be known as a fact.
No, but I will say good on the Packers
Good
for
win.
finding a way to win. Again, I was looking through the highlights. It was a very tough back and forth kind of game. Carolina was really creeping up on you guys, but hey, it's a good solid win, and we're going to talk more Packers later on in this episode. But let's continue on. I want to talk Seattle Seahawks getting it done over the Tennessee Titans, 20-17. Seattle still finds himself in that NFC playoff race at the moment. They are 8-7, so they are still within that bracket. Good win for Seattle. I know Tennessee. You and I, Palmer, we talked about Tennessee. They're still trying to play spoiler at the moment. But give me your thoughts on this game real quick.
Good hard win for Seattle. I kind of want to see them kind of stroke out a wild card run, but for the Titans, man, you got to figure it out. You're watching a sheer plummet in Tennessee happen right now. You can pretty much expect that Derrick Henry won't be there next year, so it's going to be full rebuild pretty much from here to the end for Houston. Tennessee, sorry.
No worries. Sha, let me ask you quick. Do you see Seattle in the playoffs this year?
Uh, no. I just, I don't see the point for them personally. It just like they've battled a lot of health issues. Kenneth Walker has been in and out. They don't, they
Mm-hmm.
haven't really figured out the backfield situation. I mean, and then it's kind of the same thing when Russell Wilson was there. One week you're going to get Metcalf, another week you're going to get Lockett. I feel like they haven't figured it out. So I don't see them going would just be not really a waste, but it just be an uphill battle for them the whole way there. I just think they need to
Probably be a
figure some
one-off.
things out.
I completely agree with you on that. Seattle's just one of those teams where they're good, but they're not good enough to win it in January. So hopefully they figure it out in the off season. But until then, it's going to be a long way until the off season happens.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Let's.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, no, good, good.
No, oh, no. Please.
I was just gonna say, shout out to Geno Smith though, because I am still really proud of him. He's still doing a good job. But I feel like after picking someone up like that, of course, you gotta, just because again, he also suffered, a groin injury here and there as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
think, they, it's more to figure out. They'll get it.
Absolutely. Hey, and absolutely. Shout out to Geno Smith. He's been playing well in Seattle since he's gotten there. So great on him. Let's move on to Atlanta, where the Atlanta Falcons. Did I have this right? Did the Atlanta Falcons beat the Indianapolis Colts 29-10? Oh my God, Atlanta scored points. Holy crap!
Jesus Christ, they know how to
Good for
get
the
in the end
Falcons.
zone.
Oh man, they had an embarrassing loss to Carolina last week, but hey, they managed to put up some points this week. So good on Atlanta this week.
Yeah, good hard win. Figured out how to get in the end zone. That's all that matters.
Okay, so let's move on to Tampa Bay, where the Battle of Florida happened with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Bucks defeating the Jags 30-12. Wasn't even close. It was all Tampa all day. Sha, you think Tampa's going to win that NFC South?
I definitely. I again big believer of like good talent and Baker. I've seen him in less commercials this year, so I know he's focused on football. I had made a joke like, he at one point this guy was just like in every commercial. Shout out to Baker, but he's got the weapons. I love Rashad White, and I love the usage of Rashad White. As we saw, it opens up doors. You have Chris Godwin, you have Mike Evans. Cade Otton continues to be a factor in that team. Although his usage has been spotty over the past couple of weeks, but I do believe, and without a doubt, I'm sure Baker has this in his mind. He's going to play for all the naysayers out there. He's definitely going to go for gold. So why not? I can see them taking this up.
Hey,
Definitely, yeah, I can see they have the talent. Definitely,
hey, that's
defense
well
as
said,
well.
man. Hey, absolutely, Rashad White's been killing it in the run game this year for Tampa. So shout out to them. CP, you think Tampa's going to be taking that NFC South crown?
At this point in time, it seems pretty likely that they're going to take the South. Shout out Baker, man. He plays tough and he knows how to win games. It's, like Shah was saying, it's usually when his head leaves the NFL mindset is when he starts to decline. And he seems locked in, and a locked in Baker Mayfield is something people don't want to see in the postseason. I've watched him in college. A locked in Baker Mayfield is a dangerous athlete.
Very dangerous.
Well, absolutely, well said. And I think the Bucks are getting hot at the right time. They are just like winning week after week after week, and they are just kind of securing themselves to be in the playoffs. So shout out to Baker that he found a good home in Tampa. Um, let's move on to Miami in a barn burner of a game. The Dolphins coming away with the win over the Dallas Cowboys, 22-20. Tua marching down the field to get them in field goal range. What a game this was. This was an absolute great game to have on Christmas Eve if you watched it. Shaw, man, tell me, what are you like these two teams, man? Could this be a Super Bowl matchup? It very well could be, right?
It feels like it. It definitely feels like it, and it's kind of funny because at some point last year I had pegged Miami to go to the Super Bowl, and I remember like
Then
people
Tua
looking at me
died.
like, yeah, yeah, too, yeah. Just he just never respond correctly. It's just he's in now. He's in now. Thank goodness. And I love what Miami's got going on. Just remembering like a friend of mine, or a teacher of mine, was a diehard Dolphins fan since like geez, I was 8. I'm pretty sure he's jumping for joy right now. He one of the best Dolphin teams I've ever witnessed. And I'm glad and feel lucky enough to witness this unfold in the time that it's unfolding. Dallas, major shout out to Dak. Even bigger shout out to that defense because they're playing on both sides of the ball, and I see both of these teams doing very, very well. And for us to get a preview of this on Christmas Day, I mean, how lucky are we?
Hey, this was a very Merry Christmas, especially for Dolphins fans out there. Shout out to our boy T, because I know he's a big Dolphins fan. Sifi, tell me, was this everything you wanted in this matchup?
It was everything I wanted and more, and it led me to this. I am making a bold Super Bowl prediction. The winners
Ooh.
of the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys game and the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens game will be in the Super Bowl.
That's a bold statement. I like it though. I like it a
That
lot.
will be the Super Bowl matchup, is the winners of those two respective games.
And both those games happening this weekend, this upcoming
Oh
weekend,
my
week
goodness, that's
17. So,
oh,
hey, we're
woo.
gonna talk more Cowboys and more Lions this week because there's plenty to unpack for that matchup later on in this episode. I love it, CP. I love it, and I can't wait to dive right into that.
Oof.
Let's finish up with this recap though. We're on the home stretch. Let's go to Chicago, where the Bears took on the Cardinals 27-16. Chris Palmer, did you see that magic in Chicago?
I'm telling you, man, I don't know what it is about them that has me it has my attention. It reminds me of Detroit 2 years ago, where at first they were losing games together and then they started getting closer and closer to winning games. Now they're winning games, and yeah, no, there's something in that defense that's pretty fucking scary. And that offense is starting to click. They're one or two pieces away from being where Detroit is right now. So give them another year or two, a couple of good draft picks, couple of good pickups. We're probably going to be having a conversation about Chicago, and it's going to be totally different in the next couple of years.
Sha, let me ask you this. And again, as a Packers fan, what do you think of the Bears and Justin Fields? Do you think Justin Fields is the best quarterback for the Bears at the moment?
I think so. I think so. It's working. I think it opens up doors. Again, what Chris is saying, like I can see them. They're doing what's important to do as a team, especially in this stretch. Um, it's to start winning, to start focusing on similar goals, and to play as a unit, and that's what they're doing. It's to the point where I'm almost a bit concerned, because potentially we may have to. I know we see them in the final week,
Hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
potentially the chip
They could play
returns.
spoiler.
Yeah, yeah. So that would be, it's like running into your bully after your last class. You don't want to run into that guy. You kind of want to choose another hallway, you know.
So the Bears aren't a team that you particularly want to play at the end of the year at this point in time.
With the momentum that they're on and with the confidence they're playing with, if we don't lock in and figure it out where we want to be as a unit, they pose a very high threat for us. And it's very real.
Valid.
Hey, I respect that, man. I respect it. Sometimes it's not who you play, but when you play them, and
Yeah,
Correct.
you
it's
don't
very
want to
important.
be absolutely.
And they haven't
So,
forgotten that, we slapped around and said we own them. So, they're not, I know they're not particularly ecstatic about
They
it
aren't
at
too
the
happy with
moment.
y'all.
So, yeah, no, not at all. Yeah.
they want to take ownership back.
Yeah, they want some of their lunch money back, and rightfully so. I feel like, if you keep taking the kid's lunch money, at some point he's going to stand up for himself. And you know what? He's got a few friends behind him this time, and I don't want to, I wouldn't want to be there, yeah. So that's me.
I love the analogy, Sha. I love it so much, man. Oh man. Okay, okay. We just have four more games left. We just have four more games. Let's go to the Sunday night primetime game. The New England Patriots upsetting the Denver Broncos 26-23. Man, I guess Bill Belichick actually wanted to win a game.
Here it is. It's on the way out. So it's just going to be a final middle finger to every single person that he sees on the way out.
Oh man. Sha, let me ask you, if Bill Belichick leaves the Patriots, where do you see him going?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Where I see him going, um, at you know what? I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna say where I'd like him to go, as opposed because I don't want him to end up somewhere and he's just more stressed out than before, because
Hmm.
nobody wants that. So
Nah.
I'd
So where
like
would you
him.
like him to go?
I'd like him to end up, and honestly, maybe this is crazy. Maybe I don't know. But I'd like to see what he does with the Jacksonville type of team, right? And I would like to see the acquisitions on defense and just, personnel and chemistry that he builds. Because if he has a capable offense and enough of a defense that believes they can win, because I believe that's the one thing Bill Belichick does. If he goes to a team, they're immediately gonna feel they can win. You know what I mean? And I feel Jacksonville is one of those teams that has the talent. I don't know if they have the belief. Um, Maybe. If he's in it for the long haul, maybe. better than New England, better than tanking. Um, maybe.
I, I,
Not for
li- I
me.
like that answer. I like that answer a lot, Shaw. I'm gonna just throw a team right at you and just think about it. L.A. Chargers got the talent, just need the winning way.
Oh yeah, because oh man, right? Because I do not like that. Yeah, that's a fact. I don't like that coaching situation over there much.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's all speculation now. It's all imaginary, but man, we're gonna keep an eye on Bill Belichick to see where he goes this upcoming off season.
that's a good idea,
So
John. That's beautiful. Wow, that's a good point.
hey, anything can happen at this point. But awesome, man, awesome. Let's move on to the final three games that we wanted to talk about, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders upsetting the Chiefs 20-17. Oh my God, what's going on with Kansas City, Chris Palmer?
It's that mega contract peeking its ugly head. They no longer have weapons for Mahomes to throw to. That's the thing. Without Kelsey, who is their receiving core? Valdez Scantling.
MVS, Rasheed Rice,
Right.
a lot of
A lot of dropped passes.
yeah, a lot of
A
drop
lot of
passes.
catchable passes dropped. A lot of frustrations coming from the receiving core. They can't afford anybody. They will not have anybody.
Yeah, and it's starting to rear its ugly head in Kansas City. Mahomes, fun fact, has never played a road playoff game in his career unless it's been the Super Bowl. It's all been a home stretch from there on out, but this year it's going to
Not
change.
this year, Sally.
Oh yeah, changes in the air.
Changes in the air, absolutely.
It is the
Okay,
year of the underdog.
I love it. I love it. It's the year of Tommy DeVito and Tommy Cutlets. Okay. The Italian Stallion, baby. Where, unfortunately, the Italian Stallion lost to the Philadelphia Eagles 33-25. But they managed to put up some points, man. It's been a fun year for the Giants with the Italian Stallion, Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, but it's about time that this fucking storyline comes to an end. And I'm grateful that it's at an end.
Hey, I mean, he managed to pull up a win against your Packers, Shaw. So, I mean,
Oh my
hats
goodness.
off to him, man.
Oh my goodness. Which
I'm
when
sorry, I brought up some
we
bad memories.
no. It's completely fine. You know what? You know what? Like I said, if you take too many people's lunch money, what we did with that one is we didn't take the lunch money. We might have threatened to, and we might have came in too confident, and we just walk in the park, and we were clearly wrong. Clearly, it
Right, you
happens.
barked at a New Yorker and he punched you in the mouth.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
it
Lesson
happens,
learned.
man. Hey, we're New Yorkers. We know how it is, man. We know how it is. Oh man, I love it. Okay, so final game of this Christmas weekend, it was my Baltimore Ravens defeating the San Francisco 49ers 33-19. Great win for the Ravens.
Unbelievable win. Yeah, no, you guys are now in that Super Bowl conversation. Unfortunately, this is another pretty hot take I'm going to take. This is not the 49ers year now. This game, not only did it show, it's because of they lost count them three, tackles in
Yep.
one game.
Yep.
One of which being Trent Williams with a groin injury, and he's probably going to be out for the postseason. He had to go for an MRI today. They're still waiting on results. If he's out for a substantial amount of time, their season is done.
Yeah, he is a very important piece to that 49ers machine that they are. And it's going to be interesting to see how they respond next week because they're in the playoffs, right? They secured their division, but they didn't secure the number 1 seed yet. So their destiny is in their hands. If they win out, they take it. But the Cowboys and the Eagles, they're knocking on the door.
That's right.
Okay. So with that, That is our Week 16 recap right there. So many great games this past Christmas weekend, and we have so many great games to look forward to this upcoming week. And we want to start and talk about the first game, which is actually the Sunday night primetime game, the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. So, Shah, let me ask you, man,
Well,
give me your thoughts
prior
on
to
this
five
game.
and a half hours ago, I was very confident, right? Uh, and one of those reasons was because, of course, if you
Oof.
guys haven't heard, Jair Alexander has been suspended. So,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, one of our best defenses against Justin
Yep.
Jefferson will not be there in a critical game over what could be only described as critical error, right? So now we come into Minnesota, right? And we're going against Nick Mullins. And it's not so much the concern about us keeping pace, because if I look at Jordan Love and what we do well, this is the same offense that started off really. I mean, this guy threw 3 touchdowns, basically was on the verge to the playoffs, matching Aaron Rodgers stat for stat in his start, right? So I haven't at all for a moment lost faith in him. What
Mhm.
happens is when he has to, constantly score because the lack thereof the defense, and that would be my biggest concern this weekend because Tyke Chandler heating up the way he did. I believe Madison is cleared. Um, Jefferson is back. Addison is out, but they still have KJ
Yep.
Osborne. Um, and then you have Hawkinson. So, I mean, there's a plethora of things that we're going to have to manage and we're going to have to stop. So, they're going to have to really focus, and we cannot mess around this week. If especially if we plan to push for the playoffs. And I want them as a fan not to even doubt themselves. I want them, as I've wanted them to all season long, is to continue to play good football. It's only when they don't play good football that it discerns me, because if you, they're more than capable of winning, as we mentioned earlier, like losing to the Giants, again, that was a game that we didn't have Jair Alexander. And we also, if I'm not mistaken, Quay Walker was out that game as well. So it's like Quay Walker's out, then you have Jair Alexander out. Those hits on defense, and then it's playoff times are even more critical. We really have to lock in. We really have to focus. We have to take care of the ball, and we have to be aggressive. We can't be scared to be aggressive. You got to play tough defense, and we sort of got to be like the other teams. When we lose our captain, we've got to step up. So they got to fight hard this week, no doubt.
Well said, man. Well said. CP, give me your thoughts on this game.
Um, this is a must win game for both teams. I'm gonna start with Green Bay. Green Bay, I had hopes for.
Mm-hmm.
Shaw, you and I kind of spoke about it throughout the year. Um, that I was hoping that they were to go 500. They were gonna be a slow burn this year. There's a process going on. There's a culture in Green Bay that takes a little bit longer to formulate and resonate along with the team. It's not a instant fix. Jordan Love was a slow burning quarterback that took a while to really blossom. And I feel he is right before the edge of a breakout year. I don't think this is his year for a breakout year. I thought it was. They're not playing up to the standard that I kind of saw in the preseason, but they're still playing well. You kind of hit the nail on the head with their issue, with their flaws, and that is on the defensive side. Minus Jairi Alexander, they give up a lot of yards. They give up a lot of yards and they give up a lot of points quick. So the defense never has it. They kind of shoot themselves in the foot because they never give themselves enough time to rest, forcing the offense to try and push the ball 85 yards in a matter of minutes to try and close a gap that had no business being opened in the first place, because they just need to get back to the roots of Green Bay, and that is tough front seven, tough offensive line, and then you have a strong pass rush with a really tough inside box when it comes to the defense. Your edge rush, your linebackers historically have always been some of the most aggressive people on the field when they touch the field.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back in recent years at Clay Matthews and AJ Hawk, those are just off the top of my head for remembering. Right. You remember them. So I feel they've started to, I wouldn't say drift away, but they almost lost sight of that in trying to fix the Aaron Rodgers problem. The Aaron Rodgers problem is more or less fixed. You can almost say you found your franchise guy in Jordan Love. I say you invest in him and move forward with him, and then you go back to formulating your box on defense and becoming that Green Bay defense that people really used to fear going up against, especially late in the year.
I 100% agree. Yep.
But now,
Yeah, and
go ahead, Alvin.
No, please. If you were continuing, I don't want to interrupt.
I was going to switch over to the Vikings now.
Mm-hmm. No, go, absolutely.
They have a knack for gaining a lot of yards very quick, but their problem relies also in defense. Aging Harrison Smith, they don't really have a front box either. Their pass rush is on the decline. It's you could almost call it a mirror match, but I feel the Vikings are a little bit better coached. So it's really going to come down to the coaching and the play calling that wins this game, and it's going to come down to discipline. This is the battle of attrition this late in the year. So it's going to come down to missed calls, missed progressions, missed opportunities on defense to make a play, missed hard counts, bad penalties late in the game, and that seems to be a late season problem for the Packers as well. Like, they're getting a lot of late time penalties that are costing very costly yards late in the game, and the Vikings are good at drawing penalties. They are very good at drawing penalties. So you guys need to worry about getting wrapped into something into a penalty game with them.
Definitely. And it's like Matt LaFleur is defending him, but I whether we advance or not, I really think we got to start looking for a new defensive coordinator, because it's at times like it's been really frustrating, because we've scored early, we've had a lead, and like Chris said, if our defensive guys can't rest, I mean, if I'm the other coach, I'm definitely going to push the pace and I'm going to stretch the floor. So I mean, it's I 100% agree. That's true. Well said.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I will say this: it's funny that CP, that you mentioned that you wanted the Packers to be a 500 team, and if you look at the stats, they kind of are a 500 team. They, I'll throw some stats out your way. Green Bay's turnover differential, 0, flat 0. It is like dead smack in the middle, 0. Now, again, they have this advantage going into this matchup because the Minnesota has a -9 turnover differential, so they give the ball over a lot. Nick Mullins, in his past 2 starts with the Vikings, he has thrown for at least 2 interceptions each game. So I hope your defense can do it, but I agree with you, Sha, that your big weakness is your defense. Looking at some of the film of your defense, it's specifically your cornerbacks. I look at your cornerbacks and I'm thinking that I love Darnell Savage as a safety. He's been a little underperformed as a safety, but your cornerbacks, you have Keyshawn Nixon, Corey Ballentine, Carrington Valentine as well. These guys are going up against like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jefferson, KJ Osborne, Hawkinson, what was it, DJ Moore? They're going up against some really good wide receivers only just within your division. And then you go outside your division, and then you're playing some other great teams. Like I know you guys also held what was it, Puka Nakua. When you guys played the Rams, you only held them to 3 yards. Now, granted, Matt Stafford wasn't playing that game, but that is big that you guys have the tiebreaker over the Rams too. So that's big when it comes to the playoff picture. I do want to get back to their stats real quick. So Green Bay, they average on offense 22 points per game. Their defense gives up on average 22 points per game. Their points, the Packers have scored 333 points so far this year. They have given up 331.
Oh my God.
So they are a 500 team at this point in the season. And obviously they're 7-8. They're just under 500. But you lose to the Vikings, and that's crucial, man, because then you kind of see yourself out of the play. This is virtually a playoff game. Whoever wins stays alive. Whoever loses, you're pretty much eliminated at this point.
Right, this is a critical shot.
So I will say this, though. The Vikings, again, sometimes it's not necessarily who you play, but when you play them. When you guys played the Vikings prior, Kirk Cousins was on a heater. He was playing MVP caliber football. But
100%.
Unfortunately, he got injured that game that you guys played each other in Lambeau Field. And that changed the whole dynamic of the Vikings the rest of the season. They kind of forced their hand into getting a competent quarterback. That's why they made the trade for Josh Dobbs. Now, Josh Dobbs struggled. He did well, and then he struggled. And now you have Nick Mullins in, who's been struggling as of late. The Vikings they looked very promising 5 weeks ago. Since then, they have been abysmal. But much like the Packers, the Vikings also have defensive issues as well. They have a strong defensive line, but their secondary, much like the Packers, gives up too many yards. Detroit absolutely smoked these guys last week. So I will say this, though. You guys have a lot of key things ahead of you, but I think what really is going to control the game in the Packers' favor is going to be the healthy running duo between Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. If you guys can run and sustain the run throughout the game, you guys will have complete control over the Vikings. I will say, Aaron Jones, he's one of my favorites. I love seeing him when he's healthy.
And it's been shaky
when he's healthy.
A.J. Dillon, he's one of the the good and the bad about A.J. Dillon is during a few stretches that Aaron Jones missed, he didn't really. He was another one that early in the season he wasn't getting many yards per carry, and that kind of held us up and forced Jordan Love to throw a lot more. So it's good that AJ Dillon has been more aggressive in the coming weeks. So hopefully we do at least have Aaron Jones at 100%, and we're able to get the 1-2 punch because it's been a while since we've had them fully healthy, explosive, and ready to go with the 1-2 punch. I think it just opens up the door. So absolutely, that's a good point.
Oh, absolutely. And I will say, your wide receiving core is not as bad as a lot of people think about it prior to this year. Romeo Doubs has proven himself very useful, and he has a great connection with Jordan Love. I will say I am very impressed with the emergence of Jaden Reed. I know he did not play against
100%.
Carolina, but he is one of those gadget guys that he can do everything. He's kind of like a mini Debo in a sense, where he's all-purpose. He can run it, he can catch it, he's just all-purpose. And I believe he suffered turf toe 2 weeks ago, so I don't expect him to be back for this game. However, you guys have a very balanced offense, and I think that's what Matt LaFleur is as a coach. He's not specializing in the defense, obviously, that's a big weakness for there, but he's striving for balance on the offense. Um, Sean, what do
Well,
you
I
think
mean,
of Matt
he's
LaFleur as a head
definitely going
coach,
to be
especially
tested. I
now
mean, one of the
without
things
Aaron
that
Rodgers?
I'm really eager to see with him is whether or not he can replicate what he was able to do. This time working next to Matt Ryan was pretty impressive to get them that far. Um, but I was always, I really did like Mike McCarthy. I was kind of sad when he left.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Dallas because obviously, he's doing wonderful. But Matt LaFleur just,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's more patient in certain aspects when there's probably more of a sense of urgency. So I would like to see
Mm-hmm.
him maybe, switch things up just a bit, just a tad bit, because he's like you said, he's balanced and he's not one
Mm-hmm.
I don't think to risk too much. So he's okay, but he's definitely not a Mike McCarthy. But for now, I'm just hoping again that what he does with Jordan Love and the offense around Jordan Love and just the franchise's history, being able to pick those guys like another guy that I personally like that I think is uh, could evolve is Dontavian Wicks. And I've also like Malik Heath, Samori Tori, I think I hope I'm saying that. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. But,
Oh
just
yeah.
finding those little pieces
Mm-hmm.
that are like under the radar and just being able to take them and propel them to the
Mm-hmm.
next level. That's my expectation from him, at least, from now where he's at with it. But I think he's doing a good job. He has the rapport. I just, like to see him switch it up a bit.
So let me ask you:
Feel
do
it.
you feel
Feel it.
that
Definitely
Jordan
feel it.
Love is your
Feel
franchise
it.
guy?
And there's a couple of reasons. There's of course the stats, but when I look at Jordan Love, and again the franchise's history,
Cool.
just I remember when I believe they drafted him, they kind of caught A Rod off like off guard. He was kind of like, oh, what the hell are you guys doing? But again, yeah, so I just remember
That was the year
like
of the spiteful
looking at
MVP.
him and just looking at him and just saying, okay, this is a guy. Even when he makes mistakes on the field, he's just poised and controlled. And I know he's matured from his time just being around the environment with Aaron Rodgers. And I feel like that's the same thing that Aaron Rodgers had with Brett Favre. So it's a beautiful system he's in, and I expect him to do nothing but good things. I just hope that Matt LaFleur is that guy, you know, for Jordan Love. That's all I hope. And if not, I hope Jordan Love doesn't become the guy that's on the outskirts
Mm-hmm.
because he is franchise quality guy. That's what I see. He's poised in control. How many guys of that control come in, do what he did, and are controlled about it, able to shake off a loss, able to go back out there the next game and pull out a win. So yeah, definitely, definitely.
Like it.
I like it a lot, man. And just the way you describe Jordan Love too, poised, mature, and just all it those are exactly what you want for the guy leading your team week in and week out. You want him to be poised, in control, have great decision making, mature. And I mean, so far you look at the stats again, 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, sacked 29 times. I mean, even still, I mean, he's the and he's been
Yep.
consistent too. He's been available. He has not, thank God, knock on wood, he has not been hurt. Um, if he's able to play, he will play, and when he plays to the best of his abilities, it's impressive. It's extremely impressive. That game on Thanksgiving, and then the following week when you guys beat the Chiefs, that's a
That was a
two
good
game
one.
stretch
Yeah.
where I think it
Mhm.
inspired hope for a lot of Packers fans such as yourself, where it's like, okay, this is that's a great win. That's a great quality win against two really good
Oh yeah.
teams. And for him to do that, I think it's a
Oh,
sign of good things to come in Green Bay.
100%.
So, and with that, I am really excited for this game. We're not going to make our picks just yet, but I want to ask you. I'll start with you, CP. Any final thoughts on this game?
Just keep your heads up, man. There could absolutely be some fireworks this game, and again, both teams
oh yeah.
win this game, and they more or less control their own destiny. Expect a fist fight.
I feel Jordan Love,
Absolutely. So, Shah,
you
give me your
know,
final thoughts on this game.
comes out even with all of the the adversity he potentially goes in, comes in as an underdog, comes in with everything at stake, and just with all of the doubters, the naysayers, the non-believers, and even to the fans. Most importantly, to the fans. This is the time, Jordan Love, if you're out there. This is the time in which you console any
Hmm.
Lambeau or Green Bay fan who has had any doubt of us moving on from Aaron Rodgers. We did not need him for that much longer. There is talented players out there, and Jordan Love, you are one of them, and that's what he
Hmm.
needs to come in and do. Play what he gave us the early weeks of the season, and just go out there and play good football, and I trust him to do it. And I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Oh man, I love
Mm.
every bit about that, Shah. I love it so much, and I cannot wait for this game. And this is the Sunday night primetime game, so this all eyes are going to be right on Jordan Love and
Mm.
right on Nick Mullins and right on this Packers Vikings rivalry. It's going to be so great. Let's kind of shift a little bit. Now we mentioned some names before. We mentioned Mike McCarthy. We mentioned Jared Goff.
Mm.
And we have a big matchup this week between the Lions and the Cowboys. This game is huge. This is the Saturday night primetime game. Now, we typically kind of go like in order of games, but we're like, let's talk Packers first, Packers Vikings, and now let's talk Lions Cowboys. So, Chris Palmer, let me start with you, baby. Tell me, you just came out slinging against in that Miami Cowboys game. What do you see in this game that leads you to think that this could be like, say, like an NFC title game right here?
Well, let's backtrack towards the whole mantra of this season, right? When it comes to what analysts kind of been saying, it's kind of been a passing of the torch type of season, where every game, the label of who is what keeps getting passed around. Who's the front runner for MVP? Who's the best league? Who's the best team in the league? Who has the best running game? Who has the best pass game? Now, when you look into a broader spectrum, right, and you go by teams, which teams are Super Bowl contenders? Cowboys are right there this year. There's something different about them this year. They are, without a doubt, a Super Bowl contender. Think back to when it was Dak versus the Eagles. What was the first statement that was made?
Which time? The first or second
This
time?
past time. No, the last time.
Okay. Oh, okay.
If Dak beats Jalen Hurts, Dak is now the front runner for MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If the Lions beat the Cowboys, how can you count them out as a Super Bowl contending team? That's my question.
I mean, I don't. I mean, you and I,
No, I'm
we've
not
said it
saying.
for
I'm
this whole
saying in
season. Yeah.
general
General
consensus.
you. Yeah, general you.
General consensus. How
Mhm.
can the conversation of the Detroit Lions being a Super Bowl contending team not start?
Mhm.
Especially if they walk into Dallas, who is undefeated at home. And if they whoop up on the boys at home, there's no denying that they are a Super Bowl caliber team. And that would be a perfect Cinderella story chapter of this story with Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. From being a player on the 0-16 team to being laughed at after he became head coach and gave his first interview after saying that they would be knocked to the floor and take a couple of kneecaps and a chunk of meat, He got laughed at by just about every NFL analyst after hearing that. Nick Wright laughed at him. Colin Cowherd laughed at him. Colin Cowherd actually tweeted saying that he should be, if I was a Detroit Lion fan, I would be concerned. That's my coach. But the thing is, it sent a message that we're calling for the proper people to come and build pillars and create a culture here. That we will be the last ones standing at the end of it. And that is, to a T, what he has built. He has built a bunch of people who are Penei Sewell to start. Oh my God, what a lineman. He's absolutely out of his mind. He's going to become a front runner for one of the best linemen in the league, and it's not close. Aiden Hutchinson, unfucking believable draft choice. Like we've been saying all year, they won the draft last year, and they pretty much won it the year before too. They have been drafting unbelievably the past couple of years. All roads show Detroit making a huge playoff run this year. All roads show the playoffs running through Detroit this year, and again, if they beat Dallas, you have to answer right now. This is the test right now. Dallas has been the unsung Super Bowl contender in the NFC all year. If you can come back and you can beat them at home, I'm sorry, there's no way you can't put them in the conversation.
Yeah, man. This is man.
You know,
I'm
I have to
excited for
pick
this game.
Jared
Shah,
Goff. I'm
let me.
sorry.
What are your thoughts on
As
this
I've
game?
said before, this man deserved the Super Bowl. I watched him, with all of the growing pains, and I feel the task isn't too tall for him, and that's big. And don't want to take anything away from Dallas's defense, because to have the loss that they had in the season is it sort of almost brought them together on the defensive side, and they've just playing remarkable. So Jared Goff, though, is that guy that when he gets past Dallas, there's no one else. There's no one. There's no one to tell Jared Goff that your hard work after this, here's your ring. He deserves it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel he has the weapons, and it's at this weekend is going to be one simple question. One simple question. What size is Jared Goff's Super Bowl ring? That's it. Simple.
Wait. So you're doubling down on what I said earlier, that
They're
not
going to win it.
only is the winner of
You
this
don't get
game
past
going to the Super
Dallas.
Bowl, you're saying
You
it's
don't
going
get
to be the
past
Lions and they're
Dallas.
going to
Listen,
win
you
the
don't
Super
get
Bowl?
past Dallas,
That's your... Oh my God.
right?
Oh
And
my God.
not prepared to fight. That's that you're prepared. I feel Jared Goff gets
If you
past
don't get past
Dallas.
Dallas.
What challenge is there? What can anyone take from him?
There's
Well,
the AFC.
I'm sorry, John.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
I'm sorry. Not to put you out there, but
you can
I
take a lot,
just
but
because,
it's
like I
hard to
said,
get to the Super
Jared
Bowl.
Goff
I know.
gave us one of the greatest Monday Night Football games ever, and I'm
I
saying
know. No.
if he is to do it, he's not going to half-ass it. He's going to do it all the
I
way.
remember that one. Yeah.
And if he gets past Dallas, I like him to go all the way. That's it. He has to. He has to. He has to. That's it. He has to, because you don't prepare for this
Okay.
Saturday. You
That's
just
awesome.
don't. I'm sorry, John, but you listen. You guys are gonna.
I
I
love
feel
it.
like you guys are gonna do your thing. But Jared Goff has that chip. Yeah. Jared Goff just has that chip, and
The Ravens? Oh, believe me. Oh, we are.
Oh, so
I'm sorry. I'm
his
feeling it. If they get past Dallas,
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you: is your bold Super Bowl prediction
Yes.
Ravens-Lions?
Yes, because for whatever reason,
He's
I don't know.
grinning
I
right now.
had
I can't see
Miami
him right now,
pegged
but I know
last
he's
year to
grinning right
even
now.
better this year, but I see it in Jared Goff. He's not gonna. There's no way he stops after that. There is no stopping after that. Like this weekend is a strict fight, and I mean that's the next best thing to to me. I mean, unless I'm wrong, Dak is. I believe he has one of the highest quarterback ratings in the league with a 71, right, or something like that, right? Okay, and Jared Goff is number 13 on that list, if I'm not mistaken. He's actually, oh no, or number 11. I know he's under Jordan Love. He's somewhere at
Mm-hmm.
59. But
Mm-hmm.
you take out Dak, you take out that defense,
Mm-hmm.
you got some moxie to you. You got some moxie to you. I'm not gonna lie. You already got the supporting crew, but you got some moxie to you. You stay calm, cool, and collective. You stay
Well,
healthy.
yeah.
You got some moxie to you. I like it. I like that. Baltimore and Detroit. Yeah, I like that.
Man, whew, gentlemen, I love it. I love it. Well, Shaw, I'm gonna tell you this right
Yeah,
now,
yo, you
and
shouldn't,
I
John.
told my
You
boss, I
absolutely
said,
shouldn't. That's a
if
fact.
the Ravens make it to the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
I'm not
no.
coming in that next day. I need it. I need
Yeah,
another
no.
day. Like, nah, win or lose, I'm not going in the next day. My boss already. So
you,
of course,
you
if
see,
it's Ravens Lions, that's even better, man. I would be all for that.
you see, Alvin, you know as well as I do that you and I we watch the game a little bit differently when it comes to matchups, right?
Mhm.
Shaw, I implore you to when you watch this game this weekend, watch the matchup between Micah Parsons and Penei Sewell.
Oh
Watch
yeah,
that matchup.
it's gonna
You
be
want to
the.
watch two
Mhm.
gladiators go hand-to-hand combat for 3 hours? This is your chance to do it. I've been talking to you all year about how I watch the game a little bit differently, how him and we watch the game from the line of scrimmage. You want to see what we're talking about? Watch this matchup. This matchup is going to be
It's gonna be fight.
what a
This is
barn
gonna be
burner
a fight.
of an elite tackle
It's
versus an
gonna
elite
be a
pass
dog
rush,
fight.
just
I
doing what
love it.
they do best.
And Micah Parsons has been playing with the energy too. He's been on a tear, man. I don't know who
This is gonna be
borrowed this
such a
Captain
fight.
Crunch, but he's
I love it. I'm so excited for
he's
this.
on a tear. So yeah,
It's on a
right.
tear.
See, he's a bully. Uh,
Well, he's stealing people's lunch money, man. That's what he's doing. He's
He's a
just.
bully. But Penei Sewell, he's a bully too. You know, he's chippy. He's not afraid
oh,
to get chippy with people. And that's
right,
almost like
right.
a
That's the
detriment to
thing.
the Lions because, this is
That's
going to
very
be a
true.
game of absolute discipline. So if emotions run
That's
high,
very true. I
and Micah
didn't. That's
Parsons is
true.
known for letting
So
his
true.
emotions run high too. So it's going to be the most disciplined team that wins this game.
I I do want to say this real quick. So the Lions already clinched the NFC North, right?
Right.
And Cowboys are going to be in the playoffs regardless. Like, doesn't matter if the division or not; they're just going to be in the playoffs regardless. They clinched that. I just want to throw some stats at you guys real quick. Dak, 3,800 yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Jared Goff, 3,900 yards, 27 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1,281 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's phenomenal. CeeDee Lamb, 1,429 yards, 9 touchdowns. And it's funny, both teams, their second leading receiver is their tight end, Sam Laporta, with 776 yards, 9 touchdowns, and Jake Ferguson, 659 yards, 5 touchdowns. These are two of the highest power offense that we have seen in the league. And I think for me, both teams are going to go as far in the playoffs as their offense allows. the Cowboys have the one thing that the Lions have yet to really formulate, but they're on the verge of doing, and that's their defense. Dallas's defense has been ferocious this year. They have a top 5 defense in the league, and they absolutely just bully people. Absolutely bully people. Aiden Hutchinson, 6.5 sacks this year. I mean, nothing eye-popping, but it's still very impressive. Mike Parsons, double that, 13 sacks this year.
Right.
He's been, and like you said, CB, it's going to be whoever wins in the trenches. Micah Parsons, Penei Sewell, and also on the flip side, who can that Dallas line hold up against Aiden Hutchinson?
Yeah, it's got to be this one.
Line. For me, I love this matchup, and I think if there's going to be a shootout this weekend, it's going to be in Dallas. This is it right here. But what the difference is, the Lions' defense gives up a lot of yards compared to Dallas's defense. Both teams are better when they're home, right? The Lions are amazing when they're home. The Cowboys are amazing when they're home. But man, the sparks are going to fly for this game. The sparks are absolutely going to fly for this game, and I cannot wait for this. And I will say this, though. If the Lions make it to the Super Bowl, man, if it's anyone else other than the Ravens, I would be extremely happy for that. Because, Sha, earlier this season, I said we do bold predictions. Like, we just kind of predicting, like, just, shoot the shit, right? I said not only are the Detroit Lions going to win their division, but they're going to win at least one playoff game this season. Mm-hmm. They already won their division. So I'm already halfway there. And then they just need to win at least one more to fulfill that. But, man, it's so great to see because they're like Miami. They're just a fun team to watch. They're such a fun team. And I got to give shout out to just their running backs, man. They're like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, man. They are a two-headed hydra running this ball. And they have over 2,000 rushing yards as a team. And they have nearly 4,000 passing yards. So for that's insane. Like, the Lions have over, 6,000 yards of offense. You know how many teams would...
It's fucking nutty.
Do you know how many teams would kill for that? And I see your banner behind you, CP. I'm sorry.
I do.
But you get my point,
very
though.
Much.
That these teams are electric, man. And I would love for this matchup to be in the playoffs. We just get a sneak preview of it right now, this upcoming Saturday, and I cannot wait for this game.
Cannot wait.
Oh man! So
I see.
I want to pick some games, but before we pick games, I gotta ask, Sha, give me your final thoughts on this game.
A very explosive game. I just expect the Lions to come out on top. I'm gonna ride with Chris here. I need Jared Goff to go all the way because if not, everything lines up perfectly in accordance to him as a player. Any doubt, any naysayer,
I would love to see it, man. I would love to see that.
Where he is as far as a player skill set, he just needs to clarify, and he has the perfect opportunity to do that in this game. And as for Dallas, Dak, what a heck of a way to end all of that. Oh, Dallas is always yada, yada, yada.
Absolutely, man. Hey.
Dak has been playing phenomenal. And if he were to become victorious of this, it wouldn't be bad. It actually, considering his journey, I'd be very proud and happy for him, honestly, considering everything he's been through. And then also for the defense. But I need Jared Goff to come out fighting. I need him to come out with the shield high. If he can, out of this battle. If it's Jahmyr Gibbs, so be it. Sam Laporta, so be it. But I need that blue side to come out just a little bit more. Dallas can wait. They can make a couple more. Dallas can wait.
Dallas can wait. I love it.
Dallas can wait. I love
Dallas
it.
can wait.
I love it. They've been waiting too long. They've been waiting 27 years. They can wait more.
They can wait a few more. I believe Detroit's been waiting longer. It's okay.
Oh, they've been waiting too long, man. Chris Palmer, give me your final thoughts on this game right now.
Aside from I don't feel like this is going to be a shootout. I feel like this is
Really?
going to be a lock-in game. There's going to be some explosive plays in the middle of the field, but I feel like this is going to be a very locked down defensive. I want to see a bruiser of a game where it's just body shots on body shots on body shots. And I want to see a four-quarter attrition fight. I don't want to see a shootout. I want to see an attrition fight. 10 rounds, championship boxing. That's what I want.
Hey, you very well could get it, man. But hey, this is basically a playoff game right here on Saturday night, and there's so much to look forward to. I say, you know what? Let's make some picks, man. Let's
do it.
Let's make some picks. Sha, you ready to make some picks with us? Let's do it, baby.
Cool.
Let's get it rolling. So let's start with the Thursday night game. The New York Jets traveling to Cleveland to play the Browns. Chris Palmer, I'll start with you. Who you got for this one?
Give me Cleveland. Cleveland should have no problem winning this game. They really shouldn't. This is the real seal the deal. Good night for the Jets.
Okay, I like it. Sha, who you got for
I don't
this
see
one?
them moving the chains that often. So, Browns.
Okay, I like it. So, with that, that's the
Going
Thursday
with
night
my
game. Let's
guy.
move on to the
Gotta
Saturday
go.
night game. The Detroit
Yes.
Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. So,
Gotta go.
Sha,
Yeah.
do I even
feel
have
like
to
this
ask
could
you
come
going
down
with your
to a
man
field
Jared
goal,
Goff?
Honestly, this it could be a shootout, but it could come down to a field goal. Yeah, it'll be tight.
It very well could.
It very well could.
I like it. Chris Palmer, who you got?
I would go to hell for Dan Campbell. Give me Detroit.
Oh man, I love it so much. I love Detroit. Just not in this game. I'm taking Dallas to win this one. I'm sorry,
You hurt
guys.
my heart, fam.
I know.
You hurt my heart.
I know. You know what it is? It's like both teams are like so evenly matched, but I give the slight edge to that Dallas defense, man. I just give that slight
That's
edge.
fair.
Either way,
It's very
look,
valid.
I'm expecting a heck of a game.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry,
can-
guys. I
can
know.
rock
I like Detroit
Rock with
too,
that.
man.
That one hurt.
Oh man.
Mhm. Mhm.
Absolutely, man. Hey, it's going to be a great game regardless. There's a reason they put it on primetime. Oh, man. Okay, let's move on to the Sunday games, starting with the Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans. Sha,
I'm
who
gonna
you
have
got?
to say, whew. Yeah, it's kind of. I thought it was easy at first glance. It should have been easy, but considering the health, yeah, and yeah,
It's tough.
it could be
I
one of those slower paced games. Maybe
no
on
CJ
account,
Stroud.
I don't know. Maybe Hopkins
No
is
Tank
going
Dell.
this week. Maybe take the Titans. I don't know what the Titans. Oh yeah, that's.
I like it. Chris Palmer, who you got?
I'm going to go the Titans
That is
too,
no-
specifically because the report card shows that Derrick Henry runs for 200 yards on Houston. Habitually. He just fucking eats up Houston every time they play. So I'm going to give that one to Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tennessee as well. I expect a big game out of Derrick Henry. Just feed the man. Just feed the man.
He knows what to do against them, apparently. So just let him fucking eat.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move to the Windy City, Chicago, where Atlanta goes to Chicago to play the Bears. Chris Palmer, you going with your magic gut?
I think I'm going to go with Chicago again on this one, man. They're backed into a corner right now, and the Falcons can just very well see themselves out of the playoffs. So Bears have very little to lose, and the Falcons have almost everything to lose. So
I
give me
like it.
Bears.
Shah.
I'm gonna go.
Da Bears.
Justin
Shah, who you
Fields
got
is
for this one?
man. I don't really at this stage. I don't think he's gonna. He should have control of this situation. I don't think he's gonna let Atlanta just come in there and think Chicago has this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chicago as well. Reason being is it's in Chicago. It's December, late December, and Atlanta has kind of proven this year that they don't really do that well on the road. So I'm gonna go with Chicago as well. Again, it's sometimes it's when you play an opponent, and I think Chicago's gonna catch Atlanta at the wrong time. Okay, so let's move on to the battle for the number one seed in the AFC. The Miami Dolphins against the Baltimore Ravens. Gentlemen, you already know who I'm picking, and I'm picking my Ravens. But Chris Palmer, who you got?
Jeez. Oh man.
Miami.
I know, I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. No.
Okay, Shah, you're the tiebreaker here. Who you
Let's see.
got? There is no, I mean, there could be a wrong answer.
There is no wrong answer here.
There is no wrong
Oh, you
answer
know
at
what?
this point in
Actually,
time.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens, right? And it's on account of one reason and one reason
I won't
only,
take it
right? You
personal if you
guys don't
choose
have
Miami.
Peter
Miami has been
Michelin,
very good
and I
all
feel
year.
like that Gus Edwards and Justice Hill, for whatever reason, Justice Hill could pop off and just do stuff that he hasn't done in a very long time. I also feel like
We do.
that incorporation of Justice Hill plus Gus
Mhm.
Edwards plus Lamar's ability to run, it kind of throws Miami for a loop. Versus, yeah, they have Raheem Mostert and Devin Cheney, but it's just, I mean, that's hard to play. You don't know if Lamar's gonna, play. It's very hard to play, and Lamar can do his thing. There's no doubt in that. So I like you guys to win that. And that's hard because I was gonna go with Chris. I like the Dolphins. I said I had them pick last year for the Super Bowl, but I think you guys got this, John. No lie, you guys got this.
Mhm. See, I knew I liked you, Shah. I knew I liked you. Hey, again, as much as I love my Ravens, and I agree with you so much, we have the number one rushing attack. Miami they have been absolutely stellar. They have the number one offense in general. They could do it on the ground with Mostert and a chain, but also, Tua has been a great guy, and I hope that this year it silences a lot of Tua critics, man, because Tua has been phenomenal this year. He's had an unbelievable season, and I hope
Well,
to
that'll be,
see
oh man, that'll
I
be a
hope
good
it's
one.
Miami
I'm gonna get the
and
popcorn ready.
Baltimore in the
Okay,
playoffs.
yeah.
Whether it's in Miami or in Baltimore, I hope to see this matchup again. I'll be absolutely. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, let's move to the
This is gonna
NFC
be,
South,
this is gonna be a
where the
good
New
one.
Orleans Saints are going to take on the Tampa Bay
Saints.
Buccaneers.
Uh,
Shah, I'll ask you first. Who you got
this
for this
game
one?
honestly is gonna come down to defense. So I'm gonna, yeah, it's really gonna come down to defense. It's gonna be a good game. I'm
Saints
gonna stick.
Bucks.
I'm gonna stick with Baker. He's been. I'm gonna stick with the Buccaneers. Like he's fine. He's just doing it right. Rashad White has been. I mean, Chris Godwin had a semi kind of game. I expect him to be more involved. He still got Cade Otton. I mean, they might have enough of you know ability to get past New Orleans' steady defense, even though New Orleans did just come off, that loss. So, they might be a little chippy, but I mean, I still feel like they can pull that out. Going with the Buccaneers.
Mhm. Okay. I like it, man. CP, who you got for this one?
I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers too, man. A focused Baker Mayfield is, again, he's a dangerous athlete, and he knows how to win games when he's not being focused. And this is the most focused I think we've seen him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bucks as well. I agree with all the points you guys make. You guys make a great point. Like Focus Baker, Rashad White, they're getting hot at the right time, and that's exactly what you need from a playoff caliber team. And right now, the Bucks seem to be a playoff caliber team in the NFC. So I'm gonna go with Tampa as well. Okay, with that, let's move on to the AFC East with the New England Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills. Chris Palmer, I'll start with you. Who you got for this one?
You're gonna laugh at me for this one, but give me the Patriots.
Oh my God, I'm laughing.
And hear me out. Hear me out.
Zappi!
Hear me out.
I'm hearing you out.
Bill Belichick is Josh Allen's kryptonite.
They did beat the Bills earlier this season, so it's not unheard of.
Bill Belichick has 20 years of film on how to beat Buffalo. Let's not forget who is on the sidelines for the Patriots. I said it last week. I will say it again this week. It does not matter who the Patriots play. You cannot count out how well they're coached.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Belichick is Josh Allen's kryptonite. You're going to have to give me New England on this one.
Bills.
I respect it, man. I respect it. Sha, who you got?
Yeah, no, not even that. Just I agree with that take in part because they are coached very well, especially their defense.
That's how it should be.
Especially like the second half defense is the scariest to me, and I feel like Josh Allen pull this out, but it won't be pretty because I can see him trying to incorporate Diggs more this week and maybe Knox or Kincaid. I don't know, but I feel like either way, he's got to spread that ball around this week. I feel like he can get through the Patriots, but it might not be pretty. Like he might have like a pick or two, and, well, maybe at least one interception, but he's definitely gonna pull one out. Not definitely. He might.
Yeah, man. I like that. He definitely has to spread the ball around and share the sugar. I'm gonna go with Buffalo as well, and I do like your take on it, CP. That yes, Bill Belichick is Josh Allen's kryptonite. I will agree with you on that. However, 20 years of film on the Bills, yes, but that's not this Bills team. He has those teams in the Bills past is not reflective on the Bills this year. The Bills are even different than they were last year. So I do again a Bill Belichick led team. Without a doubt, you could say they're going to be it's the smartest team on the field because Bill Belichick will have them paired extremely well, especially for this divisional game. And I think that this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. However, the Bills are clicking at the right time. They're running the ball when they need to be running the ball. They need to. Josh Allen still has that connection to Diggs. Gabe Davis, you got to be spreading that sugar, and they're getting right at the right time. And I think that ultimately, I could see next week that Bills Dolphins game. I could see that being for the division if everything how it shapes out now. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go Bills. I don't blame you for taking Patriots either because that's hey, they looking
It's always hard to go against Bill Belichick.
It's always hard to go against Bill Belichick.
No matter who he plays, it's always hard to be like, yep, he's going to lose. No matter how bad the record is, it doesn't matter. This is the worst Patriots team we've seen in 23 years. you still cannot count him out.
Absolutely. I love it. Let's move on to Philly, where it's the Battle of the Birds, where the Arizona Cardinals take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Chris Palmer, I'll start with you. Who you got for this one?
I'm pretty surefire the Eagles should win this game
Yeah,
by
I'm
30.
definitely
You know, there's
with
no
on this
excuse for them
one.
not to win this game
Eagles.
by 2 possessions
I
or
don't
more.
even want this game to be close. Like it should
Okay.
be a
Sha,
no-brainer.
who you got?
One victorious bird. Um, and besides, Cardinals already have, they already got baseball. So let's go Eagles.
Love
Fly,
it.
Eagles, fly. I'm going Eagles as well. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, though. I think this is going to be a close game. Eagles defense is one of the worst defenses this year. It's
You're
been
not wrong.
it's been very bad. So I'm going to go Eagles, but it's going to be a lot closer than Philly fans like it. Okay, let's
I'm,
go from the Battle of the
no,
Birds to
I,
the Battle of
I,
the Cats, where the
I'm gonna pick
Jacksonville Jaguars take
Jacksonville,
on the Carolina Panthers.
right?
Shaw,
And
I'll start with
hope
you. Who you got for this one?
and really hope that they take full control of this game and at least I don't know have a game where I'd like to see a team be successful. I'd love to see Ingram act in the red zone, and I'd love to see so I'd like them to get this win because I really don't know what's clicking. I
Hmm.
haven't really looked at their rating, but the Panthers are probably mile high after just throwing 30, scoring 30 points on us. So I doubt they'll repeat that again. So, in my opinion, I believe if this does become a game and where both sides are finding the easy score, I expect Trevor Lawrence to secure the win.
Hmm.
Uh, better than Young. I mean, he is more experienced. I'm going with Jackson.
Okay, I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah, yeah.
Chris Palmer, who you got for this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go Jacksonville as well, but always remember a team with 13 losses is a team with nothing to lose. So they're going to play with that they have nothing to
Very
lose,
true.
and it doesn't matter which way it's going to turn. Especially for the Panthers, they don't have a draft pick till the second round, so they don't have anything to lose on that front either. But the Jacksonville Jaguars they have everything to lose. They're right on the cusp of being out of the playoff hunt. Their division is still wide open. They need to win this game. There's a lot riding on this for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. They need this win. I'm taking the Jags as well. They 100% need to win this game. Otherwise, they could see themselves falling out of the playoff race very easily. Okay, let's move on to Indianapolis, where the Las Vegas Raiders go to Indy to take on the Colts. Chris Palmer, who you got for this one?
Give me the Colts. This is a must-win game for both teams. If the Raiders lose, they will see themselves out of the playoff hunt to go 2 games under 500, and then the Colts, if they lose, they'll go to 8-8, and they'll
I'm
be
gonna
hurting
go
themselves
Vegas. I'm gonna pick
very much
Raiders.
so if they lose. But give me
Just
the Colts,
because
but it's going to
Aiden
be a very
O'Connell
hard-fought game.
played
I like it. Shah, who you got?
um, and I think he still found chemistry with him and Devontae. Just I don't know, disconnects his game and maybe find Devontae and Myers combined. And Hayward gets involved in the mix and he has a 3 touchdown day. I like him to take that win. But again, you know, it's not going to be easy. So, um, but I just like Aiden O'Connell to bounce back. I felt like what he did was kind of weird. Just from the team overall, how they perform is just kind of weird.
Yeah, I like that assessment. I like it a lot, Shah. However, I'm gonna go with the Colts. You know what it is for me? It's kind of a coin flip right now. I don't know what I'm gonna get out of either team. I could get the Raiders
Mhm.
that score absolutely nothing, or I can get the Raiders that score 63, or I can get the Colts that absolutely just score points at will, or struggle to even score more than 10 points. So I'm gonna just kind of go with the home team on
Definitely.
this. I'm gonna go with the Colts, but I'm going to keep my eye on this game. I think this is going to be a very important game for the playoff picture going forward. Um, let's move to MetLife Stadium, where the Los Angeles Rams take on the New York Giants. I'm going to go with the Rams on this one. I just like that they're heating up at the right time. Uh, Chris Palmer, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. Like you said, they're heating up at the right time, and I'm gonna give another very special shout out to Matt Stafford for really getting the recognition that he deserves. With what he's doing with Puka Nakua, it's really starting to show. People are starting to recognize how great he really is, because this is now the third receiver that he's brought to greatness. Megatron, Cooper Kupp, and now Puka Nakua. Um,
This
so
is
shout
good.
out to
For
him.
me,
They're gonna win big on this against the
it is the
Giants.
Rams.
Love it.
I did want
Shah,
to
who you
shout
got?
out to I guess it's a shout out. I don't really know, but Tyrod Taylor did come in mid game and he did find the end zone. He threw a pick, but I thought the few times that he did come in for the Giants, he did do as good as a job as you can with that line. So I will say I do kind of want to see what he does because he is also mobile and he can drive the ball. But I fully expect the Rams to win this, no doubt, without a doubt. Like, I fully expect them to have control.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Um, okay. Let's keep it in the
Uh,
NFC. Let's move on to the 49ers
like
taking on
it's
the
not even
Commanders in Washington.
a real
Shaw, I'll start with you. Who you got
consideration
for
for
this one?
me. Just it was again an unusual situation. Kind of regressed a lot. I've never seen before, but I mean, it's just unusual for uncharacteristic. Like with the maturity that he's shown, it just doesn't represent how well he takes care of the ball. So I feel like he gets a great bounce back spot in Washington. As far as Washington, um, maybe
Hmm.
you guys we get to see more of him in this game, and it'd be interesting to see what he does. 'Cause I think Brian Robinson is still out. Um, so it'd be cool to see what he does, but I fully expect the 49ers to win as well.
I respect it. Chris Palmer, who you got?
You're gonna laugh at me again. I'm going Washington, and
Okay,
I'll tell you why.
tell me.
Um, being on their fourth string left tackle. That is the Achilles heel of the 49ers.
Hmm.
Losing Trent Williams is their cut to the throat. That's my opinion. So I feel like Washington, they have a couple of good pieces. Sam Howell can throw the ball down the field and he can score points. Without that left tackle and Trent Williams, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's really going to be it's trouble in paradise for the 49ers at the moment. I like your assessment on it. I'm going to go Niners. I think it is a bounce back game for them. Um, as big of a piece as he is for the 49ers, it takes a full team effort. And I
For
think
sure.
that the 49ers they still have we've said ad ad nauseum that they have the most complete team. Well, now complete team also means your depth of talent as well.
Correct.
And let's see if their depth of talent proves that they are a complete team. And I think it will. I think that they bounce back from that loss last week against the Ravens, and they beat the Commanders. So, but I will say I do like your assessment on it because it really demonstrates how valuable Trent Williams is to
I
that
agree.
49ers offense. He's extremely valuable. He's one of one.
Right. He is one of one. It's a perfect way to describe him.
Absolutely. So let's move on to Seattle. We have a big game with the Pittsburgh Steelers coming to Seattle to play the Seahawks. Chris Palmer, I will start with you. Who you got, baby?
You know what? You got to give me Pittsburgh
Who's
on this
starting?
one, man. You got to give me Pittsburgh. I believe it's
Okay.
Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph is
Okay.
starting. This is a must-win game for both of us. This game makes me very nervous. For very good reason. You know, we've seen sparks of what the Steelers could be, but there's issues with this team grasping the Steelers' culture on the offensive side, if that makes sense. Where there's no one who's afraid to play our offense. And we need to be able to do that again. And if we don't figure out a way to do it, or at least make a makeshift offense that people at least don't want to play late in the year, we're going to have a lot of problems. But this is the first game where I hope we show our teeth a little bit on offense. And we show like we're not here because we had a fluke schedule.
As much as
but
I
we're here
want
because we
Seattle to
belong here.
lose this game, I really want them to.
I like it. Sha, who you got for this one?
I'm gonna go with Pitt. What I saw Mason Rudolph do with George Pickens. The connection they displayed in that game to me was pretty impressive, and I can't wait to see what Mason Rudolph does with the plethora of options, especially Deontay Johnson. I mean, those are just talented guys. You know, maybe like I said, with Pittsburgh switching things up, and at this stage in the game, maybe we get steel curtain defense, even if just for a night, we get that, and you know they pull out this win. But I like Mason Rudolph, what he's doing over Seattle, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure that Geno is 100%. I'm not gonna lie. Him and Kenneth Walker, I'm gonna join issue. I don't know that. I'm sorry. Right.
Yeah, Mhm.
So
No, no,
yeah, I
sorry.
like
No, I didn't want to
even
interrupt.
though Seattle. So now the
You're
threat to
cutting in and out a little
Pittsburgh
bit. I
would be,
didn't know
of
if you
course,
were
Seattle's offense
still
has it figured
making your
out,
point, but
and
please
they
continue.
have their core pieces that they rely on, and of course, this will be, you know, a team still figuring it out. But I do like Pittsburgh's chances. I pick them to win. I like them. I like where they're headed, and again, I like Mason Rudolph on the center. I mean, the crowd was going crazy. They were chanting for him to come in, even though I thought Mitch did his thing. I like them to get this win.
I like it, man. I like it a lot. But I'm going to be the bad guy here. I'm taking Seattle.
All right.
I just think it's too
I
hard to
understand.
play in Seattle, and I just like that defense more. And I'm just personally not a fan of Mason Rudolph. I think he did have a great game, and I'm not taking anything away from that last week. But can he do it again? That's the big
That's
question.
my concern as well.
Yeah, can he do it again? So I say no. I'm gonna go with Seattle on this one, and I'm sorry, CP.
It's all good.
Let's move on to Kansas City, where the Bengals take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, earlier this year, this was going to be a completely different matchup than we expected it to, This was probably going to be for the number 1 seed, as we all thought, but a lot of things change. So I will start with you,
It
Sha.
should be
Kansas
straightforward.
City
I
or
mean, Patrick
Cincinnati?
Mahomes
Who
should
you
come in
got for
here
this
and get
one?
the job done. I expect Kansas City to get the job done. Um, but you're the underdog, so I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Bengals because and the reason why I'm picking one problem. We kind of touched on it earlier, and it's the receiving court that Patrick Mahomes has, and the ability to get that ball up the field. And I'm not sure Isaiah Pacheco he's not gonna be available. I believe they're still gonna have
Hmm.
yeah, they got CH and who else is McKinnon. Yeah, so
No, he's not.
maybe they get something established on the ground and it opens up doors, but I
McKinnon.
mean, he struggled to get the ball to Kelsey. I mean, pretty much every team knows how much of a threat Kelsey is. It doesn't help if Taylor Swift's in the crowd. I'm going to pick Cincinnati. They have multiple talented pass catchers. Even with, you know, uh, my man Joe Burrow gone, they're still playing with control, and they're still embracing, whoever's on the center. So I like them as a unit. I would love to see Joe Mixon more involved as well. That's got to be he's got to be involved in the focal point if they pull out this one. I like Cincinnati to pull out this
Hmm.
one.
I like it, Sha. I like it. CP, who you got?
Fuck the Bengals. I'm going with the Chiefs.
Chris Palmer, I'm with you. Fuck the Bengals.
Fuck the
I'm going
Bengals.
with the Chiefs.
You won't find a lot of love here for the Bengals, Shaw. I want you to know that as a fact.
I like how Shaw had like a detailed assessment of everything about the Bengals, and then we're just like, fuck them.
Fuck
We
'em.
hate them. I love it. I love it. Okay, we have 2 games left. Final 2. Los Angeles Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. No Russell Wilson this game. So, I'm going to take Denver. I'm still going to take Denver. They need this win. Chargers are they're already out of it. I'm going to go with Denver. And I think if Denver wins it, it proves that Sean Payton, he's still got it. He can coach a victory. And sometimes you just need a coach to just coach a victory. So, Chris Palmer, who you got?
Give me the Broncos. I feel they are the better coached team. They are in definitely a better sense of momentum going into the end. The Chargers have the big issue that they don't know how to finish a game.
This
as
is
of right
actually
now.
that's actually
So,
Yep.
I didn't know Russ was going to be
give
out,
me the
so
Broncos.
that
Okay.
I'm excited
Broncos
now to see
country.
what that Denver
Shah, who
team
you
looks
got?
like. Yeah, I'm really excited. They I'm not gonna take them for the win. I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Changes things.
But I'm very eager to see what that Denver offense looks like without Russell Wilson. If they do pull out a win, if Denver does pull out a win, then Russell Wilson and that staff may have some serious questions to ask. So very, very curious to see what Denver does, but I'm taking the Chargers for the win. You don't even have to ask.
I like it. I
Green
like it,
Bay.
Shah. So last game, Sunday night
Oh,
prime time, your Green Bay Packers against the Minnesota Vikings. Do I have to even ask?
Ben yelled so loud he muted his mic.
I'm Chris Palmer. Who you got?
Shaw, I'm right there with you, man. I'm going with the Packers, but this is going to be a much closer game than people expect. Expect a 3-point differential.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
I'm not gonna be the bad
All the
guy here,
support
Shaw. I'm
counts.
with you. Go
Let's do
Pack,
it.
go! You guys need this win. I'm
Yeah,
going
you know
Packers
it.
this Sunday. Let's go. Okay. You gotta love me some love, baby. Okay, so there you have it. That is our week 17 picks for this upcoming week. Man, Shaw, I just want to say thank you so much for being on this episode of the podcast. We had such a
Thank you. It
blast
is an
talking
honor
with
for you
you.
guys having
You're
me. Thank you for
welcome to
having
come
me. I
by
had a really
anytime you
great
like, my
time.
brother, and
This
I
is this
wish
is this is
I
the
wish
most
you the
this
best of luck, and I wish your Packers the best of luck.
is the best place for football. I feel I've never felt more relaxed and zenned out at my workplace. Shout out to you guys.
Shaw, thank you again, like he said, and thank you again for your just overwhelming support for this podcast itself. You tell me
Thank
all the
you
time
guys
how
for
you've been
having me.
watching and
You
everything like
got
that, and
anytime,
that's all love
anytime.
and respect there. But thank you so much for coming on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, seriously, thank you so much, Shaw. Well, if the
So,
Packers make it to the Super Bowl, we're going to count you in it.
so there you guys have it. There are our picks for the week. Please leave a like, a comment, subscribe. If you guys want to have an interview, more so for the postseason or maybe even next season as the season comes to a wrap, please send me or John Halpin a message via either Facebook, however you could reach us, and we'll be happy to schedule on for a game. Shah, again, thank you. This should be a very exciting week. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. We'll catch you guys next week.